Welcome back, friends, to Build a Lot of Acres. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Predator 5,000 watt inverter generator. Stay tuned. So today's video is going to be an unboxing video of this generator. We're going to show you some of its different features and discuss it a little bit. And I'll go over what I'm planning and using it for. But before we get into that, there's probably people wondering what is the difference between an inverter generator and a regular generator, because not everyone knows the differences. I'm not an expert, but I'm going to do my best to try to explain as far as I'm aware of what the differences are. So inverter generators are a lot quieter than regular generators. So if you want to use this for recreational uses, maybe camping, where you don't want a lot of noise nearby, these are really nice. These actually are supposed to be quiet enough that you can have a regular conversation while it's running. So being more quiet than regular generators is probably the biggest thing. Another big difference is these are better for sensitive electronics. So it's a cleaner energy that these produce. So if you're planning on running, maybe computerized things, laptops, that kind of stuff off of your generator, if you lose power or if you go camping, inverter generators are supposed to be better and not disrupt those kind of things. You're less likely to have issues with your sensitive electronic devices with inverter generators than you are with regular generators. Another big advantage to inverter generators is they produce a cleaner energy. So if you're worried about emissions and things like that, these are supposed to be better for the environment than regular generators. And I would say the last big difference is the inverter generators are supposed to be more fuel efficient than regular generators. They have longer run times. This is actually a dual fuel, so you can use propane or gasoline in this Predator 5,000 watt inverter generator. So I've told you the positives. There are some negatives to owning inverter generators as well. The biggest negative has to be the price. These are quite a bit more money than your typical gasoline generator is going to be. And they also, from what I've read at least, they don't have the same level of power. So if all you're after is maximum power to power your house when you lose power and you don't care about all that other stuff that I mentioned just a minute ago, you might be better off with a regular generator. You can get one cheaper and it's going to have more power than typically a similar watt inverter generator is going to have. At least that's how I understand it. If you know more about these inverter generators and then something I missed or that I misspoke, please leave it in the comments below and we'll all learn together. But with that said, let's unbox it and take a look at the inside. So in order to use the electric start with this 12-volt battery, you got to make sure that you connect the wiring harness here. Another important thing to note, according to the manual, these are shipped without oil. You have to add the oil before you start the machine. The manual calls for 10W30. So let's take out the oil, fill dipstick, fill it up. Again, I want to stress, add oil before you start your machine. And it says right in the manual that they will not cover it under warranty if you do not follow the directions and add oil. So please make sure you do that before trying to start your machine. Don't use more than 10% ethanol gas, according to the manual anyway. All right, so we're going to read from the manual together and we'll try to start it. I do want to emphasize again, I am not an expert. I've never owned or used one of these inverter generators. This is my first time. So if you have technical questions, please ask your local Harbor Freight where you purchased your machine and ask them those questions and they can give you the best possible advice. But according to the manual, we want to turn the throttle off, turn to gasoline mode, turn the switch on, and I think after that we can start it. While it's running, I'll do a little bit of talking. I am talking in a slightly elevated volume level, but let me know in the comments how it sounds. This is pretty quiet compared to a lot of generators I've run. I've been on job sites for, lots of years running generators when we didn't have power yet to the job site, framing houses and things, and this is pretty quiet. So after you shut it off, according to this, you want to turn it to off storage, and I think that's it. So that was pretty quiet, I think, compared to a regular generator. I've used generators a lot in the past in construction sites, framing houses and things. You often don't have power when you start framing houses and doing that kind of stuff, and you need, to run your tools. So I've been using generators for a long time, and that was pretty quiet, probably one of the quietest generators I've ever run. But here you can see a good side-by-side comparison with my Generac 5500. They're about the same size as far as watts, but the Generac is considerably physically bigger and heavier than the Predator. So if you wanted to use this for recreation, camping, that kind of stuff, it's definitely going to fit in smaller vehicles. It's going to be easier to pick up into those vehicles. It's going to be easier to move around. Whereas this is definitely, built ruggeder. I would say this is going to withstand construction sites and that kind of stuff a lot better. So like I said in the beginning of the video, there's advantages and disadvantages to each. But one of the problems I've had with generators in the past is, especially this generator, I bought this probably 9 or 10 years ago now, brand new from Tractor Supply. And oftentimes it won't make juice. It runs fine, starts fine, but it won't actually produce juice, which is the whole point of the generator. I don't know what exactly the component is, but I have flashed it in the past, which basically means you plug something into it, like a drill or an angle grinder. You spin either the chuck of the drill or the angle grinder wheel real fast, run it across something, and you can kind of push juice back into the generator and kind of kickstart it. And sometimes that works. It has worked for me in the past, but it'll work for a little while and then it'll stop again. So generators are one of those things, and you need them and you lose power, you got a storm or whatever. You don't want to be screwing around with a generator. You just want it to work, power your house, do what you need to do. And this is going to be good though. Even though I have 2 generators now, I'm going to get this one back up and running, hopefully. And then that'll give me the ability to have multiple generators. And if I need to help someone out in need, maybe a family member, maybe a member of my church, maybe a coworker, if someone, is in a tough spot, they lose power and they need a generator, I can help them out, and that'll give me the ability to do that for them. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video on the Predator 5,000 watt inverter generator. I have a lot of uses planned for this in the future, and one of my main ones is going to be powering the trolley that I have over the sawmill, and hopefully you guys will be seeing that real soon. See you next time.